Welcome to Power Punchers, episode 5. I'm being joined live by one half of HCP D-Style Boxing in the building. What's going on, D-Style?
915. We're right here, man. Connected by only I-10. So shout out to I-10.
Shout out to I-10. What's going on, JD? Hit the like button as y'all come in. Hit the like button as y'all come in. I'll say it 3 times. Hit the like button as y'all come in. And make sure to introduce yourself as well, JD, in the building. And make sure to check us out on iTunes. We're in audio form now. Check us out on iTunes. Power Punchers episode 4 did some good numbers on there last week. So check us out, Power Punchers episode 5 on iTunes. And also join us later in the show. Make sure to stick around. Nando Llamas, the comeback kid, will be defending his belt, D-Style, in boxing trivia. He is now the Power Punchers Boxing Trivia Diamond Belt Champion. And he will be defending. He verified with me. He will be defending it tonight, so we won't be awarding an interim belt. All right? So there will be no interim belt for the boxing trivia.
We got to get, what was his name? I haven't seen him in a while. The Blackbird Sugar, this YouTube shit. We got to get him. And maybe he could beat him.
You know what I mean? He was a beast. He was a beast. And Nando Llamas is a comeback kid. Look, the GOAT had it last week. He was close. He was a front runner like Zab Judah. My guy Nando Llamas came in the clutch.
Man.
Shout out Mervin Maya in the building. Love your channels. Shout out to you, man.
So are you saying that Nando was applying pressure?
He was applying pressure.
Felt the pressure?
Like Brian Castano. He was applying pressure. So, yeah, great performance by him last week. And we got 8 questions this week later on in the show. So let's see if G-Funky can wrestle that title away from our boy Nando Llamas. We'll see if he'll put up a fight. Let's go, Senator Pacquiao. Shout out JD once again in the building. Let's get this thing popping, man. Let's get it popping. The historic knockout of the week. The reason I picked this one is, unfortunately, the untimely death 2 years today, the anniversary of Pernell Whitaker passing. Was hit by a vehicle in a traffic accident. So Pernell Whitaker, one of my favorite knockouts of all time, was him. 10 straight left hands, 10 straight power left hands. This happened January 24th, 1997 against Diabeles Hurtado. Incredible knockout in that fight. He was actually knocked down twice earlier in the fight. This was actually a setup fight for him before the De La Hoya fight. So he almost fell into a trap, was having issues with Hurtado early in the fight. Hurtado was a nice up-and-coming fighter, 20-0. I think he had like 17 KOs. This was for the WBC belt at welterweight. And in the 11th round, Pernell Whitaker, and you can go on my Twitter, you can go on my Instagram, I got the knockout up there. He landed 10 straight power left hands. And what's underrated about our guy Pernell Whitaker is everybody talks about how great defensively he was, but what's underrated about him was offensively he had weapons. All right, and then also he had a killer instinct in him, and you saw that on display, none better than in this fight. What's your thoughts on this fight? I know you've seen it. I know you've seen the knockout, and also on Pernell Whitaker as a whole.
Well, first of all, rest in peace to Pernell Whitaker, one of the greatest to ever do it. A lot of people like to always throw this, and I know why they do it, and I don't think they mean bad by it, but they always say, man, one of the best defensive fighters that ever lived. But boxing is not like football, you know what I mean? But it's not, you don't play one position, you're always doing both simultaneously. Pernell Whitaker was one of the best fighters, period, right? Like you know what I mean? You could say his defense is one of the best ever, but he's one of the best fighters, period. In this fight showed, you know, how vicious and that killer instinct that he had. You know, I don't blame Whitaker at all for this, for what happened in that fight, because as a fighter, you keep going. That's the instinct of a fighter. You need that killer instinct, that aggressive instinct to be great. You know what I mean? So it was a ref, and I think it was a combination of acting a little too slow in a situation, having a bad angle at first, but there's still no excuse. It kind of went on for too long. That was a beatdown. That's scary to watch even now. Okay, even now, but nonetheless, Whitaker did his thing. Underrated. Let me tell you something. Pernell Whitaker is one of the few fighters in history to have a fight where he landed over 400 punches. I want you to just think about that. That's more than a lot of dudes throw, bro. That's not what he threw. That's what he landed, Calix. That's not what he threw. That's what he landed. Like, that is amazing. So anybody who has this idea, like, you know, I love the guy, but I mean, Ringenau's hitting dudes with 5-6 punches around. You know what I mean? Because he's a little too defensive to a certain degree. I love the guy, though. I'm a big fan. Not as bad as Lara. I mean, at least Ringenau stands in front of you. But Whitaker was that guy that if he was in front of you and he was making you miss, he always made you pay. And he wasn't scared also of making his offense his defense as well. So when you combine those two things, no wonder this dude was a hell of a fighter. One of the best to ever do it, bro.
That's right. He always stood right in front in the pocket. And he engaged. He engaged, D-Style. He was not just make you miss. He was make you miss and make you pay. And
I want to give absolutely, and I want to give credit to the guy that I got that from, and Haplotype. You know, even though you two had that debate, but that aside, you know, he's the one that pointed that out to me a couple years ago, and it always stuck with me. You know what I mean? James Toney is also on that list.
Yes, that's the two guys that come to mind for me: Whitaker, Toney. That's
right. And people have this idea that if you're defensive, you're just pot-shotting guys, right? Like pot shot, avoid, pot shot. Now, these guys were making guys miss in the line of fire. See how Whitaker was making De La Hoya miss? De La Hoya was throwing combinations, bro. He's one of the best combination punchers. This was a young, prime De La Hoya, and he was making a miss. You know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't because De La Hoya was doing anything wrong. It's just that Whitaker was a freak of nature with amazing reflexes. And man, what I would give to have a defensive fighter, because people think defense now. This is just my opinion, but they think like avoiding engagement is defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's what they think about in a way. You know what I mean? If Whitaker knew you couldn't hurt him, you were done. Because let me tell you something, Calix.
Sat on his punches.
You tell me this makes sense to you. And this is another thing that I caught from a YouTuber that stuck with me. So shout out to Zone 6. He said this years ago. There's no better defense than taking a dude out. Because guess what? You ain't going to get hit no more. If there's 7 more rounds left, guess what? You're going to get hit 0% for the rest of that fight. And I'm sure Whitaker understood that.
That's right. And in that fight, 10 straight power left hands he landed. And scary. He had the guy caught against the ropes. Scary angle that the referee had. But it was ugly. It was ugly. But shout out to Pernell Whitaker. He did what he had to do. Got him out of there and didn't have to use any more defense after that, right? So shout out. He
got hit with no more. Oh, he only got hit with just 10% of the punches. No, he got hit with 0. I was 0. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. The power puncher of the week. Let's come back to current. Who is your power puncher of this week after last weekend?
Oh, Cepeda, brother.
Oh, yeah.
William Cepeda. And I have a dream match, bro. First of all, I guess there's another guy you could definitely nominate if you want to, but Cepeda's a dude. So that's what I got. I mean, what a puncher, bro. This guy is a bona fide puncher. You know, like people are always like, oh, this guy's a boxer puncher. This guy's a puncher, bro. You know what I mean? Lights out type of dude, and he's coming for dudes. You know what I mean? I don't care who he fights, he has a shot against anybody. I'm not saying I would favor him against everybody, but he always has a shot. There's only 2 types of fighters that beat a puncher like that: another puncher, or a really good pure boxer. That's about it. You're either gonna have to. I mean, maybe not a perfect game, but you're gonna have to pitch a really good game against them. You know what I mean? Or another dude's gonna have to knock him out. That's the only way.
It would have to be a great counter puncher with some power to keep this guy off of him. And the thing I love about Cepeda, I mean, he's still early, 23-0, 21 knockouts, but 21 knockouts in 23 fights. Only a 5-year pro, so he's getting already close to that top 10 in the division. He's adding entertainment to that division. Jojo Diaz and Cepeda making their mark at 135 is what's beautiful, man, because that division needs energy, right? It's a heavy division. It's a strong division. It's a deep division, but it's a division where other than Lomachenko and Teofimo, guys have been avoiding each other, right? Jojo
Right.
Diaz and Zepeda don't look like they're cut from that cloth. So I love this kid. He's like a little Mexican murder hornet in there. He's gonna sting, sting, sting until his opponent just falls.
But check
He's
it
just
out, though.
relentless, dude.
This one's for Cepeda right here. You know what I mean? Like,
Blue
I'm
moon
just
for
saying, bro.
Cepeda.
That was, man. Okay, what a performance. I'll also say I have a dream match. And I don't want to hear anybody tell me, oh, it can't happen because this guy's a top rank. This guy was Golden Boy. We talked about yesterday on ATP that Franco's going to fight Maloney again, right? Once with Golden Boy, once with Franco. That's going to be a trilogy, bro. So I don't want to hear it can't happen. Bro, I don't know what you think about this. Cepeda against Isaac Cruz.
Yes.
Dude. And people are like, oh, no, let's wait
Weird.
till. I don't want to wait. I want to watch it now, bro.
But they're gonna make you
Science of violence right there. Shout out to 916 Chris. That's the science of violence, that fight.
That's right. I felt bad for Hector Tanahara because the guy fought. I mean, he fought. He was there. He just had no answers. There was nothing he was going to be able to do these style in that fight.
Tanahara's a
I
good
saw
fighter.
people criticizing Robert Garcia. I just don't think there was going to be a game plan for Tanahara in there. I think that's the type of matchup where he fights Zepeda 10 times. I think he loses 10 times. Sometimes it's just styles, man. And Zepeda is going to be a tough style for everybody.
Look, remember when Diego Magdaleno's a pretty good fighter. I mean, did he beat, like, when he steps up, right, he loses, but Teofimo took him out in the mid rounds and stuff like that. But you wouldn't think he's a dude that gets knocked out in the first round. Isaac Cruz took him out in the first round. Like, when you're in there with a puncher, bro, like I said, you better have some crazy boxing skills, or you better have some pop on your own punch. You know what I mean? And if you don't have one of those two, you could be a good fighter, but styles make fights, and I agree with you. It was just a bad stylistic matchup. Tanahara, there might be some guys out there that he could beat that Zepeda can't beat. You never know. Styles make fights. But this was not a good matchup for him. I hope people don't give up on him, though. Tanahara's is... I still think he could make some noise in the division. You know, I could think he could be a top 10 guy, give us a lot of great fights, but yeah, keep him away from Will and Zepeda.
He's a nice fighter. We're just talking about a different beast here. Zepeda's a guy I'll definitely be pumping up on this channel because he's that type of fighter I love. You don't have to be technical, super technical, as long as you're skilled at what you do, right? And you have fighters who are skilled at being pressure aggressive fighters. Margarito was one. Maidana was one. This guy is just a different beast, man. He's going to come at you. And there's nothing you're going to be able to do to keep him off of you. And that's Zepeda. He's my power puncher of the week as well. William Zepeda, 23-0, 21 KOs, right on that fringe of the top 10. Hit that like button as y'all come in.
And we could do like a silver belt for the power puncher of the week. Shout out to Zurdo, landing those body shots from the southpaw position. Mm-hmm. And I think, I like, it's almost like Barrera didn't know what to do. Like from that angle, those punches. So, hey, he got the knockout. So
I think Zurdo knew that Barrera, coming off of a 2.5-year layoff, was just going to fold at any time. So you make a guy fold by going to the body, and that's what he did. So shout out to Zurdo for coming in with that game plan. He did what he had to do, made a statement that he's possibly a top 5 fighter in the division, and calling out Bivol after. He did everything right that he was supposed to do during the fight. So shout out to him, Zurdo. Not always my cup of tea, but he was on Saturday night, so shout out to him. Did what he was supposed to do against a fighter that he was supposed to look good against. I'll leave it at that. Right. Hit the like button as y'all come in once again, and also make sure to tune in towards the end of the show. Boxing Trivia. Nando Yamas, who is in the chat, has verified that he is defending his Power Punchers Boxing Trivia Diamond belt tonight. There will be no interim belt on the line tonight. Who knows, man? Maybe I'll become like Mauricio Suleiman as time goes on and start awarding other belts. But
is the GOAT an interim champ too, or?
No, the GOAT's got to step it up if he wants to beat the comeback kid Nando Yamas. So Shout out to him, and he's defending his belt tonight. I got some good questions for y'all tonight. Let me hit you with the poll of the week. The poll of the week. This is on the community page on my channel. Do you believe the narrative that a challenger has to take the title from the champion by winning maybe extra rounds, leaving it beyond a shadow of a doubt? Should the judges give the champion benefit of the doubt in all the close rounds? Do you believe in that sort of thing? And it doesn't have to necessarily be champion versus challenger, maybe house fighter against contender, challenger type thing, big name against smaller name. The poll says 68% say no. You got 24% that say yes. What do you think?
Here's what I'll say. To answer your question, the answer is no. I would challenge anybody to find me anywhere in the record books or in the rule book that you got to give the champion so many rounds or you got to take it from him, whatever that fucking means. Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess that means be aggressive and knock him out because you can't win by decision or whatever it is, right? I'll tell you where it comes from, though. I think that this is, this is what you call like a continuation anyway of trainers or fighters knowing if I go to this dude's hometown, the judges are going to be biased against me, mm-hmm. right? So I got to do a little extra. I got to stop them. You know what I mean? Like, cause it's just, I think that's what it is. Like you know what I mean? As a trainer, hey, we're in England. You're fighting this Englishman. Okay, we're outsiders. You got to do more in this round or the judges, you got to leave them no choice but to give you the round. I mean, if it's 50-50, they're not going to give it to you. Now, that's them saying that, but that's not a rule. That's not like something that we as fans should adopt and be like, oh, that's totally the way it is.
Right.
No, that's actually things that are wrong with boxing, right, that have been wrong with boxing, right, that we have somehow in a weird way, like it's kind of flipped and it's become like an adage now, like an accepted thing, that, oh, it's just the way it is. It's like a battered wife saying, yeah, if I don't have dinner ready by 7, he gets to punch me in the face, right? Isn't that the thing? like no, that's not the thing. It shouldn't be like that. Now, is she getting the dinner ready before 7 so you don't punch her in the face? Probably. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that that's right. It doesn't mean that's the way it should be. But that's boxing. We're a bunch of battered wives, and we just accept shit, and we turn them into adages, bro.
If you say something and repeat it over and over and over, if enough people do it, it eventually just becomes the truth and groupthink, right? And that's where we're at with this. And I just don't subscribe to it. I already see people saying it as far as this weekend, too. Charlo is the bigger name than Castano. Charlo is seen as the house fighter, so Castano has to go in there and take it from Charlo. Maybe win 8-9 rounds. I see it with Canelo all the time. And it makes sense to a certain point because if you're the fighter, you have to go in there if you're fighting a Canelo and act like you got to win 8 or 9 rounds. Same thing If you're Castano. You have to know the bigger name. I got to go in there and try to take him. But as fans, as unofficial scorers,
right?
You don't adopt that. You just sit there and you score the fight as you see, no matter what. I mean, Pacquiao Bradley, however you saw it, you score it that way. In that case, the A-side fighter didn't get the benefit of the doubt. But we have countless amounts of champion gets the benefit of the doubt in every scorecard in every round.
So that's you just said it. The benefit of the doubt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no, we don't apply benefit of the doubt to scoring. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things where we know it's a thing. Like, we know it exists. You know what I mean? Like, we know, like everybody knew, like, I think even you knew this, Alex, that if Prograis Taylor was razor close, I think you knew who was going to win that fight.
Taylor.
You know what I mean? Like you just knew. Like, would you hope, I mean, would you be open to be pleasantly surprised? Sure, right? Like, who did he score that fight for, by the way?
Pro grade, close.
Right. Okay. Right. So while you scored it, though, where you're saying to yourself, nah, but I got to give this one to Tater because he's the house fighter. So 10 for Tater. Like, no, that's not a thing. Like, now it's something you acknowledge like, we just know as fans that it's an unfortunate thing that judges do. Maybe it's a mixture of things. It could be corruption. It could be incompetence. It could be swayed by the crowd. It could be anything. It could be subconsciously they're really favoring the house fighter. It could be a lot of things, but there's no, like, the house fighters, the big name fighters, the A-side fighters, the champions, more so the latter, by the way, than the champions nowadays. But nonetheless, for the most part, get the benefit of the doubt, but they shouldn't. Nobody should get the benefit of the doubt. Okay, fighter A fights fighter B in a round. The guy that wins a round gets 10 points. The one that doesn't gets 9. It is a knockdown, -1 for the guy that got knocked down. It is a point deduction, -1 for the guy that got knocked down. What's the scoring criteria? We know it, okay? Rank generalship, clean effective punching, defense, okay, and effective aggressiveness. Go. Score it. That's all you have, guys. There's no... Wait, yeah, but Max Kellerman told me that who would I rather be? Like, no, that's not a thing. Okay, it's not.
But I hear this adage continued. I mean, I hear it all the time. You have to take it from the champion. You have to take, and I feel like most of the time it's the fans of the champion saying that, right? But it's repeated and repeated and repeated, and it's become a thing in boxing, and it's got to stop. It's got to stop. Just score, kick back, score the fight. Just score the fight. Don't worry about, he's the challenger. He has to do a little more in that round. All right, he has to do a little more than the champion in that round. No, man. He has to win 8 or 9 rounds to win the fight. No, man. If you had this guy winning 115, 113, it's 115, 113. That's it. That's it. He won 7 rounds. He didn't have to win 8 or 9. He won 7 rounds. So that's where I'm at with it, too. And I'm glad. I was pleasantly surprised by the poll because I expected yes to come out winning, but overwhelmingly it was no. They tend to agree with us on this.
But there's fans that have just accepted it, though. Like, there's people out there that think it's just normal. Like, they think it's a thing, bro. Like, they think, no, that's how you scored, right? Like no, it's not.
Right. No, I agree. Hit that like button as y'all come in. Introduce yourself in the chat. And also make sure to tune in later on in the show. Bottom of the hour, we're having Nando Llamas defend his belt for boxing trivia. Boxing trivia this weekend. Let's see if we can have a new champion here, or if Nando Llamas, the comeback kid, can defend his title and keep it for another week. And by the way, I will be posting the boxing trivia from last week and this week on the channel, so everybody can tune in and watch the boxing trivia. And the person who wins it, the title holder, will get their name on the title of the video as well. Now let's move on to a little something I like to call belts gone wild. D-style. You know where I'm going with this already. WBA. Yep. Manny Pacquiao. They refused to give him back his title, elevate him back to the WBA champion. Now, I'm under the understanding that, look, they have many different belts, right? They have a gold world champ, they have an interim world champ, they have a super world champ, and they have a world champ. They don't have a super duper world champ yet, but they have a super champ, world champ, and a world champ. Now, they didn't elevate Manny Pacquiao back to super world champ, unfortunately, which would have made sense for this fight. You already got 2 major belts on the line. You could have added a third along with the ring belt, which identifies the lineal champion. But the WBA refused to do something that was common sense. Now, if they were always rigid with their rules, D-style, I would have no issues with this. Hey, Manny didn't fight in a timely fashion. He hasn't fought in 2 years. Okay. But as Manny Pacquiao's press release stated, Keith Thurman went 22 months without defending his title and was still able to defend it. Not only that, pandemic, we have a current specific example of the hypocrisy. Leo Santa Cruz, from my understanding, from everything I've seen, hasn't fought at 126 in a couple years, right? Yet he's still the super world champ at 126. So if you can bypass the rule for Leo Santa Cruz at 126. Why not for the biggest fight in boxing currently, Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence at 147? Is there something going on behind the scenes? Is there something against Manny Pacquiao behind the scenes that we're not seeing? Could possibly Al Heyman have gotten involved here? I don't know.
I don't know why Heyman would be involved.
Maybe a connection with Mayweather, possibly.
I mean, let me first say this. So he was champion in recess. Wasn't that the title they gave him?
Right.
So recess is over. Like I think he's saying, yo, like they never stripped him of the belt, right? Like technically they just put him as champion in recess. Why have a champion in recess status if when the recess is over, you're not gonna let the guy fight for that belt? Like now you gave the example of the Thurman, 100%, and there was no pandemic. There was no pandemic, ladies and gentlemen. No pandemic. You just gave the example of the Leo Santa Cruz fight. Leo Santa Cruz was fighting in other divisions and he lost. I remember when Floyd beat Shane Mosley, he didn't want to pay the sanctioning fee, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And they stripped Shane Mosley of the belt.
Right.
Because he lost. How dare you lose, says our champion, to the guy that didn't want to pay the sanctioning fee. I don't know if Shane Mosley paid the sanctioning fee. If he did, he's a fool, by the way, because then they stripped him. This is unbelievable. To me, something has to be going on because there's no excuse here. Period. I think they jumped the gun getting Ugas to be the super champion or whatever to elevate him. Who did Ugas beat? Like I just don't understand what Ugas did to. And I like Ugas, but he didn't really do anything. Like really.
And he hasn't fought since September, and he still doesn't have. Although I'm hearing Andre Berto, but you'd rather have Ugas versus Andre Berto than Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence as your champion. I just don't understand. Sometimes there's something going behind the scenes. If they were rigid all the time, I would say okay. Even during a pandemic, 2 years, okay, but they're not. They make exceptions all the time to the rule. So make one here. You could have had, let's put Ring in the mix. You could have had 4 of the top 5 belts on the line here. And then the winner of the fight could possibly make something going on with Terrence Crawford, hopefully, for Undisputed at the division. But no, now we got to throw Ugas in the mix.
Yo, but I just, what I don't get is, right? I mean, like something has to be going on because there's so much money for them to make here. You know what I mean? Like it just is. Now they might find a way. They might make a special belt to still get a sanctioning fee. Which, by the way, fighters need to stop paying sanctioning fees for special belts. Yes. Okay. Like, just stop. Like, why are you giving the WBC your money?
If you're at a certain point in your career, I've argued that in videos many times, is if you're a Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather and your goal isn't to become undisputed at this point, there's no reason for you to be paying sanctioning fees at this point because we already know who you are and you're adding value to the belt. The belt's not adding any value to you. So I'm guessing the reason they were upset is possibly they were angling for Undisputed if they win this fight and possibly making something with Terrence Crawford. Maybe he wanted to become Undisputed to finish off his career. Possibly that's why they're mad. But if you're not going for Undisputed and you're at a certain point in your career where you don't need belts anymore, don't waste your money on the sanctioning fees. And I even saw that in the Manny Pacquiao press release as well, is what are we wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars on sanctioning fees for if we don't get rewarded? What are you doing for those
like fees? Not only that, bro, like, I mean, look, they have to understand there was a fucking pandemic. Like, well, goddamn, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, seriously, dude. Ain't nobody else was like gonna get stripped, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems to me like the WBC probably made this decision because I don't know, maybe they just felt like this time we're gonna follow our rules. You know, I think maybe they didn't want to get sued by Ugas. I don't know, but I mean, maybe it's something with that. You know what I mean?
look, if Tyson Fury can win the ESPY for Fighter of the Year without even fighting in the year, anything's possible. And the WBA should have granted Manny Pacquiao his status back.
This
I know you
dude,
dropped
Tyson,
the video earlier,
yeah.
and I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I was like, what? Did I get in a DeLorean Back to the Future and travel back to 2019 or something? Like how did Tyson Fury become Fighter of the Year? When did this happen? When he hasn't fought in the year. He hasn't fought in the year, and he's Fighter of the Year.
Well, some people were saying, "Oh no, it's a 12-month rolling year." Okay, well, he hasn't fought in the last 12 months. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what? Oh, it's just a technicality. It's off by 2 days.
He hasn't fought since the last ESPYs, and then we're at the next ESPYs. He's 0-0, and he's
That's right.
Explain it to me. Make it make sense. Who is voting for this? Like, I'm sure ESPN has boxing people, right? Like, we know that. So are they not voting on it?
No, they say they have a special committee that selects this. They got to fire that committee then.
Yeah, okay? they need to get rid of that committee.
Bro, all they got to do is ask their like I keep hearing, oh, because he's the ESPN guy, right? First of all, the fact that he beat out Canelo is unbelievable to me, right? The guy that actually fought, right? That's number one. But what about Josh Taylor? Okay, put dudes from ESPN then. Josh Taylor fought on ESPN, Undisputed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. But it's the ESPYs. I mean, it's a popularity contest. People vote on it. You know what I mean? But how is he even nominated? Like, how is he a nominee? Like, if he didn't even fight, bro. So, like, what's going on? But Manny gets stripped. Manny is they put him as champion in recess, bro. And then
recess is officially over. He announced the fight. He's fighting.
Recess is over, bro. You know what I mean?
Elevate him.
Just elevate the dude, bro. But I'll say this. Crawford, brother, give Aaron a call and tell him, make Ugas an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah.
We got to get that belt. We got to get that belt, bro. You know what I mean? If Ugas is a super champion, get that belt, Crawford. Now you got to do something. You got to make some moves, bro. Fight Thurman, bro. Come on, dude. Shout out to Mr. Boxing Today, too, by the way. Love to have him on Power Puncher one of these days. You know what I mean? But I mean, come on. You know?
The thing about Terrence Crawford, real quick, I hope what I'm hearing isn't true that he's going to sign a multi-fight deal with Top Rank. Look, guys like Devin Haney, Regis
he might fight Daryl
Prograis,
Cepeda, brother.
Prograis, guys like that have shown you the way. I mean, guys are doing Canelo fight by fight by fight deal. You can look, man. You can go with this promoter here, this promoter for this fight, this promoter for this fight. Fight whoever you want. Terrence Crawford doesn't have to sign a multi-fight deal with Top Rank, and maybe they're lowering Josh Taylor for him. I don't know, but you can get that in a one-fight deal. You don't need to sign a 3-fight deal to get that. Just, dude, make yourself free, make yourself available for many different things. Look, you have a lot of guys in the PBC that are available for you at 147 if you become a free agent. And maybe these managers are going to make these guys try to sign 2 or 3-fight deals, like we were hearing for Canelo. They were saying he had to sign a 3-fight deal with PBC to get the Plant fight. I don't know how true that is. But, dude, go fight by fight basis. You're Terrence Crawford. You're at a point where, look, man, there's no need to continue to sign multi-fight deals with Top Rank. And if you do, stop complaining about not getting fights. Stop complaining about not getting fights, if that's what you want to do. Because Terrence Crawford,
I'm hearing he might fight Daryl Cepeda, brother.
Yeah, you think that's what he's going to do? That's what I'm hearing. October.
That's what I'm hearing as well. I'm here. I hope whoever put that out is capping. I hope they're lying.
Because he destroys them. It's an easy fight.
That's yeah, and it's not even like a dude in your division anyway. Like how are you going backwards, bro? Like Like, I'm one of those. I didn't really criticize him for the Mean Machine fight because I think Mean Machine's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's alright. But alright isn't good enough for a dude that's supposed to be one of the best in the world.
No, it's not. And you got to get it going, man. You're 34 years old. Stop with the nonsense.
Damn.
Now, speaking of 147, what did you think of Manny Pacquiao? His comments with Errol Spence Jr. saying that he doesn't need any support from Floyd Mayweather because he's better than Floyd Mayweather. What did you think about that? Was that just cap? I think it was just cap. I think he was just throwing a shot at Floyd Mayweather. But you got to also look at how Manny probably defines better fighter. He probably defines better fighter as a guy who stands toe-to-toe. Or he's just trying to say to Errol Spence Jr., look, if you want to be a great fighter, you got to stand toe-to-toe with me. Possibly some mixed messaging there. What do you think about all that?
Well, look, I like what Manny did. This reminds me a little bit, like I honestly believe it was reverse psychology. So hear me out. When Ray Leonard was going to fight Hagler, look, he knew that Hagler, can slug it. Like, he could apply pressure. He could, he knew he was the bigger guy, and it's his weight class, and we knew he respected that, which is why he didn't want 15. He wanted 12. He didn't want 18 by 18. He wanted a 20 by 20. Back in the day when 20 by 20 was big. Now dudes want 24 by 24.
Just Billy Joe.
Just think about that, okay? So what ended up happening was, and shout out to Joe Habib, he did this interview with Ray Leonard a couple years ago, and Leonard admitted, he's like, I wanted him to think to himself, what is he like mocking me, like or what? Like, oh, I'm gonna show him I can box, and that's how he came out in the fight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he really wants Spence. I don't think he would mind it, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he wants Spence to come out, use his size, make it ugly, slug it out with them. And I'll tell you why, because Spence is big. Spence will be fighting at middleweight by the end of his career. He's a big boy. You know what I mean? I think he wants Spence to show everybody he could box. I think that's what he wants. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Manny wants me to stand tall. Oh, I'm not going to give you I'm going to show you I can box, Manny. Yeah, because Floyd's going to tell him, oh, just stick and move. We already know what Floyd's going to tell him. You know what I mean? Like we already know. But what advice is Floyd going to give him? Like, you can't use a shoulder roll against a southpaw. Plus, you're a southpaw yourself. Okay? You're a completely different style to Floyd. Completely different style.
Mm-hmm.
So what is Floyd going to tell him, really? You know what I mean? So I'm sure Floyd will tell him some generic stuff, but at the end of the day, I think Spence might come out trying to box. I think Spence might come out because a lot of boxing fans out there, Calix, they seem to think that coming out and boxing and sticking and moving is the way to do it. Like, oh, if you do that, you won't lose. Like, well, that's not really true. Like, if a motherfucker cuts off the ring on you, you're done. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always true. There is times we gotta stand your square. There's times you gotta show aggressiveness, and you gotta lead. You know what I mean? I think this is Manny, who's very experienced, been in the game a long time, trying to get Errol Spence to try to box him, to try to stick and move, try to box on the outside, and fight in a way that's not his greatest strength. And that might give Manny like a good 2-3 rounds where he doesn't have to really deal with Errol Spence like that. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is, to be honest with you.
That may be his game plan. I don't think that's what's going to happen, though. I think Spence is going to try to push him forward and get Manny to fight off his back foot. We shall see. But I thought it was a lot of cap towards Mayweather. I thought that was a little shot at Mayweather more than anything. He gives these little digs at Mayweather. Still some bad blood there, obviously. But I thought they showed each other a lot of respect in the press conference. They were both, I think I'm the best fighter. I think I'm the best fighter. There was that, but there was also a lot of respect between the two guys. But what I noticed was the size difference. The size difference was very noticeable.
Right.
However, if you can't keep the smaller guy at bay, that advantage becomes a disadvantage, right? That's why I don't call it a size advantage. I call it a size difference. Because if Manny can start to use that size against Errol, then it becomes Manny's fight. But I thought there was a lot of respect from both fighters. I was just interested. I was intrigued by that comment, though, because although it was a lot of cap at Mayweather, there was something else going on there. And you might be right. It may be a little mind game there. I noticed the toe-to-toe thing at the end. When he said toe-to-toe, I was like, why did he say that? I think maybe he wants Errol Spence. I kind of disagree with you there. I think he kind of wants Errol Spence to stand in front of him and trade. I think maybe they see something in Errol Spence that they can land some shots at angles. And maybe they want to test that chin after the car accident. I think that's what it is. I think he wants Errol Spence to trade.
I mean, I guess my thing is this, though, right? Errol Spence, after the Mikey Garcia fight, right, said, I didn't stop him, but that's because I wanted to prove that I could outbox him, right? Like, he had a chip in his shoulder. He wanted to prove something, right? Now, I think it had more to do with the fact that for the first time in Mikey's career, he wasn't getting the dude's respect when he was hitting him. You know what I mean? That was the first time that his punch wasn't having an effect on the opponent. You know what I mean? So now Mikey came up from 126 now. Not for that fight, but career-wise. Mikey's not a big guy, and I think that's what did him in. You know what I mean? But that aside, I mean, Spence felt he had a chip on his shoulder. Mikey came out, said, I see something, and there was a lot of talk about Spence's ring IQ, like going into that fight. And I always told people this guy was an Olympian. You know what I mean? He was a top amateur. He's got some ring IQ. They make no mistake about it. You know? But, I don't know. I think there's something to that comment. While I agree that maybe he does want Spence to slug it out at some point in that fight, I don't think he wants him to do it out of the gate. I just don't. I think he wants Errol Spence to try to box him. You know, I think Manny at this age wants that slower start. He wants to deal with the size for less time as possible. It's inevitable. He's going to have to deal with it. But if you can give himself a cushion of 2-3 rounds, right, there might be something there. And it also give him an opportunity to land something big and start the fight strong, you know. So that's just what I think. I think he said it for a reason, you know. Or maybe he said it, you know, to make Spence, that's what he thinks, and Spence might come out and be aggressive. Who knows? You know what I mean? But he said it for a reason. I think there was a reason behind it.
He said toe-to-toe for a reason, and I really think it's because he wants Errol Spence to stand toe-to-toe with him. I don't think he wants, at 42 years old, I think he would be more bothered by lateral movement than size. I don't think he wants a guy moving around with him a lot, although there are questions about Errol Spence in round 10, 11, 12 maybe slowing down in fights, as some of these comments have said. Who knows how that fight plays out, man, but I'm very intrigued by it, and I think Manny wants him to stand toe-to-toe.
Well, one more thing, Calix. I mean, people need to go back, go watch the Cal Brook fight. Okay? Watch the first 4 rounds or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just look at that fight, and I believe people will see then why Manny might want him to come out and box. You know what I mean? Like, people will see it then. Only Manny might be saying to himself, once you find out that that's not working and you go to your roots, Spence, and you try to, you know, get aggressive with me and try to go to the body up and down and fight the Spence way. I'm not Cal Brook. I'm not going to fold like that. You know what I mean? So I think there's something there. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you what now. This fight is intriguing because both are southpaws, and Spence doesn't have the right hand. That's usually Pacquiao's kryptonite. He doesn't have that weapon. Just think about that. That's important, bro. You know what I mean?
Yep. Y'all make sure to hit that like button, as the comments say. Hit that like button. And make sure in about 20 minutes, we have a boxing trivia. Nando Llamas, the comeback kid, is defending his belt, the Power Punchers Boxing Trivia Diamond Belt.
And by the way, look, we don't discriminate here, man. So like, if the women want to get into the boxing debate, you know, to take that belt, you know what I mean? That way I could tell you, Nando, that he lost to a girl, like, or something like that. Do it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
And we give the real belt. We don't give the pink belt.
Let's see if we get a new champion. Let's see if Nando is going to defend. And like I said, man, we're going to be dropping the videos from last week's boxing trivia and this week's boxing trivia on my channel. And the champion will get their name on the title. And the champion will be the champion until next week. There's no champion in recess. Nando
the champion might win this.
Tonight.
Yeah, right. Never mind.
Nando Llamas is defending tonight, so there is no interim belt. So look, man, Nando's saying bring it on. The comeback kid came back against the GOAT last week and won the boxing trivia. So we got some good questions for y'all coming in about 15, 20 minutes. So stay tuned. I wanted to get your quick thoughts on Virgil Ortiz versus Mean Machine being announced. A fight I'll probably be at in Dallas, Texas. What do you think about this, man? I love this fight stylistically.
Hey, let me tell you something. Isn't it crazy that you're closer to Dallas than me? And I'm in Texas. Because that's number one, okay? I-10, stand up. But anyway.
That's right.
Let me tell you something, man. Mean Machine is not a bad fighter. You know, like I said earlier, like I didn't get on Crawford when he fought Mean Machine. I didn't. You know, I knew it wasn't one of the top guys, but I was like, you know what, for now, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm totally expecting Virgil Ortiz to go in there, punish the body, and it's not going to be easy. Okay? It's not going to be an easy fight.
Especially early in the fight. Crawford fight. If you Mean Machine knocked him down in that fight. Didn't get credit for it, but knocked him down.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned that. What did Crawford do once he was knocked down, Alex?
Came right back at him. Like right back at him.
Yeah. Crawford did the things that people, like a lot of boxing purists, like, you know, you gotta, hit and not get hit. Nah, Crawford stopped boxing and he went straight at him and applied pressure. And Mean Machine didn't know what to do after that. You know what I mean? That's foreign to him. Well, that's Virgil Ortiz's style. Like, I'm expecting Virgil Ortiz to go in there, punish the body. He's going to get hit now, right? There's going to be exchanges now. But somewhere like in the 5th or 6th round, the fight will turn around. Like, it's going to go from competitive to one-sided somewhere in the 5th or 6th round. And it's going to be the punishment to the body. And I think he stops him around the 9th round or so. Virgil Ortiz. Right? Stablemate, by the way. Early stablemate of Errol Spence. All right? So shout out to them. They came out of the same gym. RIP to the owner of that gym. I forgot the name, but Virgil Ortiz, stoppage, 9th round. And I got to say this. Mayday to Crawford's resume. Brother, you can't have dudes on your resume where everyone else is beating them.
Yes.
Okay? Like, it's almost like everyone is taking turns with Ndango nowadays. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I get it was a big deal that you became Undisputed at 140, but like Ndango's been getting beat lately.
Not all Undisputeds are equal, right? There's some that are easier than others. Like Charlo's was difficult. Charlo went through a difficult road. Josh Taylor went through a difficult road. He went through.
I like Posto.
Yeah.
I like Posto, but let me ask you right now, who do you favor, Posto or Prograis?
Prograis.
You know what I mean? Like Crawford's wins, they're not aging well, bro. Like what win is aging well? Like when you look at it, like every fighter has those wins that age well. Look at like even Gary Russell has wins that are aging well. You know what I mean? Look at Jojo Diaz. Look at what he just did. You know what I mean? Like a lot of dudes have wins that age well. Crawford doesn't have one, bro. Not one. Now, Mean Machine turns around and beats Virgil Ortiz, and it's a different story. You know what I mean? But none of them are aging well, bro. None of these wins.
No, you're
none.
No, you're right, and I just the same thing. Like we just mentioned, it would be one thing if everybody was just ducking Terrence Crawford, which is happening, but he's made some business decisions that aren't in his favor. And if I'm hearing what I'm hearing is correct, that he's going to sign a multi-fight deal with Top Rank. Man, it's not good, not good. And then I saw some people complaining on Twitter about, oh, y'all were disrespecting Terrence Crawford for fighting Mean Machine, and now you're giving Virgil Ortiz credit. Two things. We didn't, you and I didn't, but I did see some of that. But here's the thing: you're at different points in your career, right? Virgil Ortiz is climbing that ladder. Terrence Crawford was already at the top of that.
Man, whoever said that is retarded, bro.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry.
But Virgil Ortiz is putting together a nice resume. He's got a fun style that's going to attract a lot of fans. He's got a nice built-in base, and I never bought I like that he called out Terrence Crawford, but I knew that fight wasn't coming next. But it is a fight I'm intrigued by if it's 2 fights away. If they can make
there's
that
people
next
that are actually saying that, oh, you're giving Virgil Ortiz credit, but you weren't giving Crawford credit. Like, there's people actually, like they looked at the mirror and they said this and they thought to themselves, that makes total sense. This is crazy. Now, granted, I already said that I wasn't giving Crawford a hard time for this fight. You know what I mean? I thought it was a solid fight. I thought it was okay. You know what I mean? But okay to a champion is good for an up-and-coming contender.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, you're right. Different points in the career. And that's the first thing I noticed about that comment. And also, I don't know if you saw this news as well. Apparently, Tyson Fury was out and about in Vegas today. Luxury rental cars. I don't know if that's true. Not confirmed.
That can't be true.
Not confirmed, but I was out there. I just saw it. I saw it on the internet, right? These styles. So it must be true. Must be true.
Well, I'm gonna guess that it's not true. If it is true,
there was no reason to cancel this fight. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yo, if that is true, and maybe it's not even that, Kelly. Maybe it's just, my God, is that irresponsible?
Yeah.
Like, if you have COVID, bro, you're just going around doing this stuff after this fight got canceled. That is irresponsible, brother.
We'll find out.
No, yeah, because look, Rick Glacier comes out. Oh, he's asymptomatic on HCP Uncensored, right? Okay. How did he know that? I don't know. And he was so sure about it, right? And then Bob Arum does an interview with Joe Habib, and he says he is showing symptoms.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna guess, because that is so unbelievable that I don't even believe it. To be honest, I'm being honest, bro. That is crazy. That would be the most, like, it's like a gangster move, but like an asshole move at the same time. You know what I mean? Like what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, do you really want to give D-Style Boxing a heart attack over here? Like, another rant about you?
But I'm so exhausted with the whole Wilder Fury thing at this point. I mean,
these guys have turned me into
a thing, right? Like it's like we had Deontay Wilder with the excuses all this time, and then you have Tyson Fury who still hasn't defended, and then you throw this in the mix where it was black versus white. Now all of a sudden it's vax versus non-vax, and at this point, man, I'm checking out. Let me
tell you something, bro. These two 6'7" average, one 6'7", one 6'9", but these two average 6'8" motherfuckers that turned me into the biggest AJ fan. Okay, I'm all about AJ. I'm gonna order some Anthony Joshua gear. So I am Team AJ all day. So I'm tired of these clowns. I'm done with them. AJ all day, every day.
Look, man, I'm exhausted with the whole thing. I'm just exhausted with the whole thing.
How tall is Fury, by the way?
6'8", 6'9". He's up there.
So they stack bullshit that high? That's crazy, brother.
Look, man, and I'm a fan of Ty. I've said when he's right, he's the best heavyweight in the world by light years, in my opinion. But I'm just frustrated. Wilder and Fury don't mix. They just don't mix. You just always get something done with it.
Can I ask you a question about AJ Fury, right?
Go ahead.
So they want me to believe that they were negotiating in good faith, right? Fury even came out and did the video saying, "Oh, it's official," blah blah blah, the day before the arbitration ruling, right? But then you admit that you didn't take the vaccine till after the fight. After the fight was announced, I should say. So, dude, like, if you were really like progressing in the negotiations, I would think you would have already gotten that taken care of. Is what I would think. So I don't think they were negotiating in good faith with the AJ team.
Yeah, man.
So
Like
so
I said,
these motherfuckers have turned me into a full-fledged matchroom. Like I'm a matchroom tart now. You know, I'm about Eddie Hearn all day, every day. AJ all day, every day.
And look,
Team
man,
AJ.
I love AJ versus Usyk. At least we got that to look forward to, because I think that fight will happen on time, hopefully, and that's a great heavyweight scrap where a lot of questions are going to be answered, as far as Usyk anyway. And if AJ gets past that, hopefully these two guys fight and we get undisputed in 2022. That's a big if. That's
Good
a big
luck,
if
brother.
right now.
Good luck with
Heavyweight
that.
division, man. It's like Housewives, right? The Housewives of that's what the heavyweight division is right now. Like just a bunch of drama, not much fighting.
That's right.
They'll slap each other every once in a while. Not much fighting, but a lot of yapping back and forth, a lot of drama, and that's where we're at with the heavyweight division.
All I will say is that they're all getting old, and hopefully some young heavyweight comes around and knocks them all out. You know what I mean? And we can just move on.
Hey, it might be Anthony Joshua. You never know. But undisputed, D-Style. Let's hit on this real quick. We have what boxing fans claim to want. Always claim to want the best fighting the best, right? Yet we don't see much publicity for this fight right now. And it's understandable for casual fans. Charlo, as far as casual, is not a huge name. Castano, casuals don't really know him. But I'm not seeing much buzz in the boxing world either. I see 87,000 videos about Tyson Fury and vaccine, no vaccine, and all this stuff. I see all over Twitter, Fury Wilder. I see million boxing articles. Shiny object, shiny object, shiny object. But
Doesn't
I don't
make
see much
sense.
people talk, many boxing fans and journalists talking about the best fighting the best, which is what we claim to want all the time, right? So what is the deal with the promotion for this fight?
Let me first say this. In life, things don't make sense. Nancy was saying earlier on women crushing the Wednesday in the ring with Christine, by the way, but she pointed out something that caught my attention. So Zurdo Ramirez has like braids, right? But then he wears a cowboy hat, right? Now that doesn't make any sense. There's really no there's a lot of questions I have, like why are we here? What's the reason? That like how did the universe become? Why does Zurdo Ramirez have braids on under his cowboy hat? I don't know. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like these are things. Why aren't boxing fans creating buzz for Jermell Charlo and Castano fighting for undisputed, right? Like
Why
like
does
this has
always say reporting?
reporting. I don't know, but like it's one of those like we just know it's there. You know, we'll just say Big Bang and we just move on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So look, about I don't know why Zurdo. I have no idea. I have no answers for that. But let me say this though. We should be hyped for this, you know. But I'm a firm believer that people like to bitch about things, bro.
Almost.
You know what I mean? People like to bitch about things. Mm-hmm. So what I mean by that is we're not getting disputed. They love the fact that they could bitch about us not getting it. You know what I mean? They love it. Once you give it to them, well, they don't get to bitch about it. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. You know, that's unfortunately these are the characteristics that I'm noticing in a lot of fight fans, which you would think would not be characteristics, bro. Like you would think like we're excited for this. Here you have this Argentinian powerhouse about to challenge this powerhouse Texan, and they're about to fight for supremacy of their division. To see who the best in this division is, for all the marbles, Jermell Charlo collected 3 of the belts. Castano's got 1. He went to a foreign company to go get that belt, by the way. He went and got it from a Golden Boy fighter and brought it home to PBC so we could get this fight. So he made that shit happen. And now, which by the way, you should try that, Plant. But I keep hearing like people want to complain. There's people out there that love the trauma of complaining. They love to hate the fucked up part of the sport. You know what I mean? I know it sounds like an oxymoron, like they love to hate it, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of boxing fans. You know what it is? What's that term like when a woman gets abused by her husband all the time, and then like at some point she like just accepts it, and you know, or like somebody gets kidnapped and they fall in love with the abuser. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that's boxing fans, bro. Like we just fell in love with the wrong shit, and it's like fucked up. And it's like once they got something good, like there's people in life, like when you're good to them, right? You give them a gift, and they don't know how to, because they never had something good. Like they think there's something behind it. Like, why are you giving me this? Well, what do you want? You know what I mean? That's boxing fans. We're battered people. We're abused people. You know what I mean? Yeah, there we go. Stockholm syndrome. We got Stockholm syndrome. Now I'm using the word "we" loosely now, okay? Because I don't got that shit. I can't wait for this fight. I'm going to have butterflies in my stomach. You know why? Because I know Castano's a slight underdog. I say slight, and I mean that.
It's closing. It's closing.
Yeah. This is going to be a hell of a fight. I'm going to have those butterflies in my stomach. I'm going to be pulling for Castano. I'm very open about that. But I like Jermell too, so I'm going to be happy for whoever wins anyway. I just want a great fight. I want those butterflies. And you know what I mean by that, right? Sports fans, we get those butterflies in our stomachs. Right before the bell rings, like, holy shit, it's here. You know what I mean? And we get that adrenaline rush. That's what I want. And I'm surprised that boxing fans aren't excited for it. I mean, you don't see a lot of buzz for this, bro. Like, you just don't.
Who do you have winning? How do you see it playing out?
I got Jermell. I have to put on if I have to make a projection for it, I was a 60% Mal. I apologize, Mal, and then 40% Castano. That's the way I see it.
Shout out Boxing Republic. Shout out to Women Crushing It Wednesday as well. Make sure to go check that out after the show. Appreciate that. And hit the like button as you come in. Boxing trivia is coming up in about 10 minutes. But how I see this fight playing out, D-Style, is Castano. I keep bringing up the term murder hornet because it makes sense to me. Like murder hornets come at you and they just sting, repeatedly sting. Although they haven't showed up in Louisiana yet to my knowledge, but they sting until you fall. That's Castano. He's going to put his head in your chest. He's going to come forward. He's going to try to get inside of your reach. And your reach becomes, it's just a reach difference. It's not a reach advantage at that point. It becomes a reach disadvantage. Castano is that type of guy, man. He's going to apply constant pressure. And if you haven't seen this guy fight yet, which I assume some people haven't, go watch him. Go watch his last fight against Teixeira. This guy gets inside that reach and just lets his hands go. The thing that worries me about him is the same thing that worried me about Jose Ramirez, right? When he gets on the inside, he squares up. And you saw as the fight went on, Josh Taylor started to time that. He started to dig into the body, to the solar plex. And Jose Ramirez was right there for those uppercuts. And I think it's going to be the same thing with Castano in this fight. But it's an interesting fight for me because I want to see if Castano has a great chin and can withstand those counter punches that Charlo is going to throw as Charlo takes a half step back and unloads on counter punches because he's going to try to walk Castano in the shots. He's going to win rounds off of activity alone because Charlo can be economical, right? He can be economical in the fight. So just off activity, Castano is going to win some rounds. So if Charlo doesn't slow this guy down with some power punches, and this thing goes 12 and Castano has a great chin, then we got ourselves an interesting scorecard. This thing could go either way, just off of activity alone with Castano. I'm telling you, this guy puts out high output. He comes forward and he puts in. He applies pressure. He's a pressure fighter, D-Style.
He is a pressure fighter without a shadow of a doubt. Okay. Shout out to Big Dog Willie. He says Fury was buying a COVID-19 proof Bentley.
I think there's legs to this rumor. I saw pictures as well. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna wait for the facts to come out.
Right. Shout out to Big Dog Willie, by the way. Look, I think you're right about putting the head in the chest and grinding it out. I'm gonna wait. Like, my pick could change halfway through this fight. Like, if I feel Castano's working that body, right, and slowing down Charlo, it's gonna be a long night for Charlo, right? I mean, there's no doubt about it. Like if he can stop that, but now he's not known for the uppercut like Maul is. You know what I mean? But I think we're gonna see the uppercut in this fight.
You know what I'm picking?
Yeah.
And it's basically off of gut. I'm picking Charlo. It seems like his destiny to me to become undisputed. But also, if he didn't have that loss in 2018, I would say, I could see the upset here. I think that woke him up. He didn't take that fight as seriously as I thought. He avenged it, and he's been right ever since. And I think he's right in the head, man. I think mentally he's there. I think mentally he's prepared for a pressure fighter to come forward. He's overall the more talented fighter, I believe. And I think this is his moment. I think he's gonna figure out a way to get past the activity, get past the pressure, and land some shots, slow this guy down a little bit, and win on the cards, because I do think it's going 12. I see a lot of people picking Charlo by knockout, which makes sense because, like I said, Castano comes in square, but Castano is still a tough fighter.
You better lose yourself in the music. You know what I mean? This opportunity comes only once in a lifetime. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Okay. Shout out to the Boxing Republic, by the way. Let me say this. I'm gonna be real transparent. I want Castano to win. I want to see the upset. I won't be mad if Jermell wins. If he does, congratulations to him. I am using my brain to pick the fight, which I do believe Jermell will win, right? But what I really want, bro, I just want a classic. I want a war. That's what I want. I want a back and forth. I want to see Castano get up from the canvas, finish a round. You know what I mean? I want to see that look in Jermell's face, like, God damn. I want to see that. That's what I want, bro. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I wanted from Tater Ramirez, to be honest. Now, it's not Tater's fault. I mean, he's going to do what he's got to do to win. He's not going to just make it a war, right? But I felt that
from great fight to great performance as the
exactly.
fight went on.
Exactly, right. Plus, he had a little bit of an assist from the ref now. Let's not forget the little assist with the hand now. But with that said, hey, man, if Castano wins this fight, bro, I mean, Argentina's got themselves a powerhouse, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Remember, something about these Argentinian fighters, and maybe it's because, do you think that's a thing? Like, the fact that he's from Argentina, not from Mexico, or not from Puerto Rico, like he's from Argentina. Do you think people just kind of like, why he's an Argentinian fighter? You know what I mean? They don't take him as serious.
Right.
Because nobody was taking Martinez that serious, and then he pulled off the upset. Okay, Manny felt he beat Williams in that first fight, then he knocked him out of the rematch. He beat Pavlik, bloodied him up. Mm-hmm. I'm going to shout out to Cali Pavlik, but he got bloodied up in that fight. You know what I mean?
Right. So
at the end of the day, it's almost like the Argentinian fighters had to do a little extra to show us that they're the real deal. How do you feel about that? You think Castano would be taken more serious if he was like a Mexican fighter or a Puerto Rican fighter?
Oh, no doubt, because he would have more of a built-in fan base as well to support him. Any Mexican fighter, especially with a aggressive style, is going to get that support from the Mexican fan base, and that's going to give him more credibility, right, on the up and coming. Castano has sort of flown under the radar up to this undisputed fight, and like I said, not all Undisputeds are the same, and not all roads to Undisputed are the same. Charlo has had more of a difficult road to Undisputed than Castano. And that's another reason I favor Charlo is he's had a tougher road there. He has more experience. He's been in there with more styles. Yes. Um, two
And you
good wins
said
for
it.
Castano, Lara and Teixeira, but Charlo has put together a nice resume. And I just have a feeling, man, he's mentally there, mentally prepared. That 2018 upset woke him up, and I think he's ready. But this is it. I got a lot of respect for Castano, man, and I love that style.
And Calix, you said earlier, and it's true. Like his loss, made him better. Like he got better off of that loss. Canelo might have lost to Floyd at a young age, but it made him better. Okay, Mancini lost to Arguello early in his career, right? Said, yeah, he beat me, but you know what? I was young and I learned a lot out of that fight. That fight made me a better fighter. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's at the end of the day, what makes guys great coming off losses are the ones that don't fall apart after a loss. Like the ones that adjust to it, get better, and come back stronger. Those are some of the most dangerous fighters. And I think the Mayweather era of protecting the O has kind of made people believe for some reason that
we've lost that part of the equation, right? You learn from the loss.
Yeah.
People give you an opportunity to come back from it. And it makes sense because fighters fight once or twice a year. So fans lose patience, right? But
plus, he lost that Castillo fight.
Charlo has done everything right since then. He's behaved like a champion, like you'd like to see a champion behave. And he's got to this point where everything's on the line. So much respect to him, man. I think
let's replace the word loss with lessons, right? An L, right? Floyd Mayweather took an L in the first fight with Castillo, and he knows he did. That's why he was saying his shoulder hurt, and he had all these excuses why he didn't perform the way he wanted to perform. In my opinion, he lost that fight, but and that's why he did the immediate rematch. But guess what? Well, people always I get it, and I'm with people that think Castillo won, but there's always one thing they leave out, Calix. I'm not talking about the Floyd Mayweather fan. I'm talking about the Castillo fans or just fans in general that point out that Floyd should have lost that fight. They rarely bring up the rematch, right? Floyd ran it back, and he won the rematch.
Yes, he did.
He learned from it. He got better, and he pursued.
Maidana too. Close fight. Dominated the second fight. With help from the referee, but dominated the second fight. made the proper adjustment, dominated the second fight. So right. I got Charlo. I think you got Charlo, but we both think this is going to be an excellent fight. We both have a lot of respect for Castano, and we're both super excited for this fight. Undisputed, everything on the line.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. Just don't cry for me after he loses, by the way. I'm just saying.
D-Style, we've got to the moment. Nando Llamas is still in the chat. So we have an official defense here.
In the blue corner.
Of the Power Punchers Boxing Trivia Diamond Belt.
Making his defense of his title, Nando Llamas.
And I see the GOAT in the chat as well. The GOAT's going to have another shot at this because the GOAT was running strong like Zab Judah. But can he prove that he's not a front runner? Can he prove that he can finish the show this time?
Yeah, you need the stamina, brother. You need the stamina. You know what I mean?
Because he was close. But the comeback kid, Nando the comeback kid Llamas, edged it out. And we got inaugural champion. And by the way, once again, 2 videos will post tomorrow. Last week's boxing trivia, this week's boxing trivia with both champions are maybe Llamas on both videos on the title as the boxing trivia champion until next week. So that's on the line as well. A lot on the line. And no interim belts, no champions in recess. One belt. Well, we're
going to see, man,
until we get corrupt, D-Style, until the money gets involved.
He's got more competition this week, bro. The GOAT's coming for him. You know what I mean? The GOAT's like, I worked on my stamina. I worked on my I think his thumb stopped hurting when he was looking for the Google, last week. I think he's been working the thumbs. He's ready a little bit, but the muscle that matters ain't the thumbs. It's this right here, brother. Because let me tell you something. People know the answer. They don't got to go Google it. They got the advantage. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I knew all those answers last week. I would have beat all of you last week. You know what I mean? So I hope you all did your homework. I hope you learned some. Okay. And Nando, it's got word that Nando He wanted to be announced last, like because he's the champion. Like, oh, you got to announce first, brother. It is what it is.
And look, we got some modern questions. We got some earlier historical questions. We got some easy ones. We got some a little more difficult ones. I want to make it not too difficult for everybody.
Hey, what did I heard? Dwyer has the GOAT as the favorite here, and he straddled it with Nando. But I mean, we'll see.
Well,
that's just a complete stranger online. You know what I mean?
That means somebody else is winning then.
Oh boy.
But okay. Question number 1. You got the Jeopardy music ready, D-Style?
Oh man, I'm slagging it this week.
Get that Jeopardy music ready. I'm gonna give y'all a couple seconds to get ready. Get your mind right. Shake off the butterflies.
Hopefully Jeopardy doesn't sue Power Punchers, but
let's hope not. Let's hope not.
You know, it's a tribute to y'all. You know what I mean? Like,
all right. Is everybody ready? All right, here we go. First question. There's going to be 8 questions this week. Last week we had 6. This week we have 8. What boxer made his first title defense in 21 years in 1995? Go. What boxer made his first title defense in 21 years in the year 1995? Let's see, nothing yet.
I heard it was a big dude.
We got nothing yet in the chat. There we go. Who got it first? Andre got it. Is that right? No, we got Nando Llamas again. He came in with
Man,
4.
yo, Nando came out like with a right hand.
Andre, he beat G Funky. Whoa, Nando Llamas.
Nando came out like with something to prove, bro. What's going on now? You know what I mean?
1 for Nando.
Nando Llamas. You're writing it down, Calix?
I got it 1. Nando.
All right, cool. I'll just focus on the music that way. All right.
Question number 2. Here we go. Get ready.
I gotta get ready, brother.
Get your Google fingers ready. Let me get the chat ready.
Get your Google and your brain. Remember, if you know, right? So,
which heavyweight fighter successfully defended his title against both George Foreman and Larry Holmes? Go. Heavyweight fighter defended his title successfully against George Foreman and Larry Holmes. Heavyweight, 90s. See what we got. No. There we got one. That's right. That's Andre got it first, right? Andre Rodriguez got it first. Evander Holyfield.
Yo, let me tell you something,
by the way,
man.
he would lose his next fight to Riddick Bowe. So we got one.
Let me just tell you guys something right now, bro. Like Andre's like, you know, Nando, you ain't winning shit this time, bro. You know what I mean?
Andre's
landed a hook.
He almost got that first one too.
He came with that hook, bro. He landed a devastating hook. You know what I mean? He's breaking people's will. 3 people left the chat. Like he's breaking their will already, bro. Look at this. Let's go.
Santiago said butterbean. That's wrong. Question number 3. Whammy. Question number 3. All right, let me make sure I get this right. What forced Sugar Ray Robinson, we're going back. What forced Sugar Ray Robinson to retire on his stool in his fight against Joey Maxim in 1952? What forced him to retire?
Come on, guys.
In the corner.
I'm a Robinson guy, so.
I believe this is before the 14th round or after the 14th round. Retired on his stool. Why did he retire on his stool?
Y'all just throwing shit out there. There we go. G Funky got it.
Did he? Oh, you before me. Oh. Heat exhaustion. That's right. G Funky in the building. G Funky got one. Look, we got ourselves a battle here.
Light heavyweight championship. He was winning the fight. I think like 2 refs passed out or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah, you know outdoors, I believe.
It was outdoors, and you know, it was what it was. So Robinson was never knocked out. It's on the record books as a knockout, but he wasn't knocked out. You know what I mean? That's what it was.
I don't think we can accept cramps. All right, I think we got to go with heat. Right? Over
heat
cramps.
Exhaustion.
I don't think we can accept cramps as the answer.
Heat cramps. Come on, man. Heat exhaustion, brother. That's
heat.
what it was.
Heat exhaustion. So look, man, we got ourselves a battle here. Everybody's still alive. 5 more questions. 1-1-1. All right, here we go. Everybody should know this one. Which British boxer came to public attention when he won the silver medal, British boxer, silver medal, in the lightweight division at the 2004 Olympics? British boxer, silver medal, lightweight division, 2004.
Oh, boy. Easy work. Come on, guys.
Nothing yet. Who got it? I see it there. Big Dog Willie.
Yo, Big Dog Willie comes out, man. Yo, Nando, it ain't going to get handed to you this time, brother. Like, this time, you got some real competition now. You know what I mean?
Big Dog Willie's got one. Dude, we got a 4-way tie halfway through this thing.
People came out with a mirror.
But
we need to establish a rule right now. Somebody said a mirror, which is fine. Are we going to accept first names, or they got to say the last name?
I think we'll accept first names as long as I know what they're talking about.
Well, there's a lot of first, like John. Like, you know what I mean? Or like, like.
Let's use it on a common sense basis, maybe.
Okay, all right. That sounds good.
That might get muddy. We'll see. We'll play it out. Question number 5. In 2006, and these next two are Miguel Cotto questions. Miguel Cotto fan, it's my show. Miguel Cotto trivia, the next two.
Easy work.
In 2006, Miguel Cotto fought at 140 for the final time. 2006 fought at 140 for the final time. Successfully defending his WBO title. Name his opponent. His last fight at 140. Name his opponent. Successfully defended his title. Who was his opponent? Last fight at 140. Y'all don't have time to pull up Box Rec.
Somebody got it.
Who is that? Let's see who got it first. That's Run PMC. That's Run PMC.
Okay.
He beat G Funky is that right? Yeah. He was the first one. He beat G Funky to the punch.
It was Paulie? It wasn't Torres?
No, it was Paulie.
Oh, wow.
Torres came before Paulie.
All right. Okay.
So now we got, is that 2 for, no, it's 1 for Run PMC. Dude, we got a 5-way tie.
Got a 5-way tie, ladies and gentlemen.
We got a 5-way tie. Everybody's still alive. 3 more questions. Everyone is still alive.
Is Boxing Republic still out there? Did she give up? Was her will broken or what? Like, what's going on over there?
Shout out Boxing Republic, by the way.
I was pumping up the women, and they're not getting any points, brother. Like, what's going on over here?
Shout out Boxing Republic and Big Dog Willie for the support, by the way. And Big Dog Willie's still alive. Boxing Republic's still alive, too. Look, man, we got a 5-way tie here. 3 questions left. Another Miguel Cotto question. In 2012, Miguel Cotto went 0-2. You should know this. Name the 2 fighters who defeated him. Go. 0-2, 2012. Name his 2 losses. We got it yet or no? Who got it first? Run PMC? Did he get it?
Go.
Run PMC first. Floyd and Trout. Whoa. Barely beating the GOAT. Barely beating G-Funk.
Yeah, Pacquiao was in 09, guys, or 010, right?
So what we got? Run PMC is 2. Run PMC, dude. He's in the driver's seat. We still got 2.
Wow. What's going on, Nando?
Left. 2 questions
Nando,
left.
your title's going to get snatched, bro. What happened?
Everyone is still officially alive. All right? We go to a tie. We'll figure out another question, right, D-Style?
And for those with 0, this is your shot right here. You need 2 straight. You know what I mean? Just saying.
That's right. So we got ourselves a tie. And by the way, D-Style, I didn't come up with an extra question, so come up with an extra question.
That's fine.
If we go overtime. All right. Question number 7. In which country did Muhammad Ali's final fight take place? Which country? Final fight. He lost to Trevor Berbick in this fight and then retired at 56-5. What country did it take place? Muhammad Ali. Last fight. Which country?
Is that right?
Is that Run PMC again? He got it.
Yeah, That's it.
think
That's
he
it. He
got the
won.
Bahamas.
He's got 3
Run
points, right?
PMC. I think he officially just wrapped it up. He officially wrapped it up. Let's still run this last question.
He knocked everybody out in the 11th round, brother. That's it.
That's right. It was against Trevor Berbick. I think he lost that last fight. It was in the Bahamas. He's been
Man.
retired.
He was like, I don't want to, like, he did what Whitaker said. You know what I mean? The best defense is knock them all out. Like, now, let's go,
That was a knockout. Run PMC, man. Shout out to Run PMC. A new champion. B-Rabbit. No, we got Run PMC. New champion. Dude, last question. We're still going to ask it. On April 6, 1983, in my hometown, New Orleans, Louisiana, Andy Bowen and Jack Burke fought in what is considered the longest boxing match ever recorded. The bout lasted 7 hours and 19 minutes. The match was to be fought until there was a KO. This fight ended in a draw where both participants refused to come out of their corners. How many rounds did this fight go? Go. 7 hours.
Worth 5 points, guys. The winner of this one, they win the whole thing. That's fine.
It's like the Moneyball in the All-Star game.
We're like our Family Feud. One family's getting beat the whole game, but they win the last row. So, you know what I mean?
This is not correct, but close. This is not correct, but close.
Man, y'all just throwing rounds out there, bro. Like,
I have a feeling that nobody's going to get this. Boxer Girl had to hit us with the 69.
To be honest with you, I don't know the answer to that question. I knew all the other ones. I don't know this one.
I'm going to give y'all 20 more seconds, see if somebody can hit it. 86, it wasn't 87. 107, the GOAT's warmer. I'm going to hit y'all with the Price is Right. Warmer. 101, 107. Keep going. You're getting close, GOAT.
112.
Nope. Still close. Somewhere
115.
107, 112.
So 111.
No.
110.
Yes. Andre got it. I'm going to give that to Andre Rodriguez. He got it. 110.
Andre, he's punching. He went out swinging, brother. You know what I mean?
So look, man, shout out to Run PMC as a champion. More on that in a minute. Andre Rodriguez came in second with 2. Nando got on the board. G-Funky got on the board. Big Dog Willie got on the board. And look, D-Style, we got ourselves a new champion. Nando, you had a good week run. You're still going to make the video tomorrow. But you've been dethroned. The new Power Punchers Boxing Trivia Diamond Champion.
Dude, there's going to be some controversy, though. He's going to say, cramps. You could get cramps from the heat. You know what I mean? They stole that from me. Like, so.
And look, man, Nando, the cardiac kid, the comeback kid, he gave us a nice run, man. He was a nice, humble, gracious champion.
Hey,
we got ourselves a new champion now, Run PMC. We'll see what kind of champion he is this week. I have a feeling he's going to be talking about
Nando ran out of gas this time, bro. Like, it's like the opposite. You know what I mean? Like, he came out strong. He came out swinging. He got the lead right away. It looked like it's going to be a repeat. Two-time. And then he ran out of gas, bro.
And look.
Like, the Wi-Fi started moving slow. It was like, whoa, slow down there, partner. You know what I mean?
A little correction. G-Funky actually came in second because G-Funky did answer that question first, 110. He answered it first. So, G-Funky came runner-up. But look, man, what did they say?
Overruled. You give it to Angeline.
What they say in Ricky Bobby Shake and Bake? Second place is only the first loser, right? So,
yeah, but what happened when he asked his dad, right?
Right.
If you're not first, you're last. Like, what? I was probably drunk when I said that shit. Right?
That's true.
There's second, there's third, there's fourth. What do you mean? Like, we got a rematch clause. Come on now.
We got ourselves a new champion, though. Run PMC. We'll see what kind of champion he is, if he's going to be a humble champion, if he's going to be a trash talker. But congrats to Run PMC, man. I'm going to shout you out on Twitter. I'm going to shout you out on the community page. I'm going to shout you out on the video tomorrow. You are the new champion until next week. And tune in again next week, about an hour into the show. We're going to have Boxing Trivia number 3 and see if Run PMC – look, we haven't had a guy successfully defend yet. We'll see if Run PMC is able to defend. It's one thing to win, but can you defend? That's the thing.
That's right. Hey, make sure you guys
better show up because we don't want an interim champion.
That's right.
So look,
But
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say we don't have champions in recess over here. You know what I mean? You don't
No,
show up. You don't retain the belt. You know what I mean?
no champions in recess either. So D Style, give me your power punch, your final round knockout of the week.
Here's what I'll say, man. My perspective of the day is this: when something good happens in boxing, embrace it. You know, as a hardcore boxing fan, embrace it. Cheer for it. You know, give it gratitude, or give it what it deserves. You know, like I understand that maybe that great fight isn't getting the publicity. It's not sexy to the public or to the casual fans, but don't be that person that's ashamed of their dog or some shit, so they don't take them out for a walk. Like don't be ashamed. If you're gonna be a boxing fan, be a boxing fan all the way. You know what I
There's
mean?
people who do that.
Yeah, I guess so. I see people that are like, my dog's too ugly to go walk. Like what? What do you mean? It's your dog, bro. You know what I mean? Like, be proud of your dog. You know. So boxing, like, be proud of being a boxing fan. You know what I mean? Like, one of the, I don't know if you get this too, Calix, but I'll have friends like, hey, is there any boxing fights this weekend? I'll be like, yeah, like, Tater's gonna be fighting Ramirez for Undisputed, but who are they? Is it pay per view? Is it like a big fight or nah? Like, so I think a lot of boxing fans feel, I don't know if it's like ashamed or what. Don't be ashamed of the real fights. Just don't do it. You know what I mean? Don't forget that a lot of the classics were fought in half-empty arenas. Like Castillo, Corrales should have been sold out, but it wasn't. But people still talk about it till this day. It's one of the most watched fights I can guarantee you till this day, right? So keep that perspective. Celebrate the sport when it deserves to be celebrated, not just when the spotlight's on it and all that. That's my power punch of the
Yes.
week.
And I'll echo that. And I'll also add on to what you just said. A lot of the best fights are not the super fights. We had the anniversary this week, Mickey Ward, Emmanuel Augustus, one of the best fights I've ever seen. Happened between two run-of-the-mill fighters. Incredible fight. And we have Undisputed. We have what everybody claims they want as boxing fans, the best fighting the best. We have the two guys fighting each other, and they're going to settle it. It's not going to be, in a mythical matchup, who would win between Charlo and Castano? No, we're finding out. We're going to find it out. So, excellent. I'm telling everybody I know about it, and this is what boxing's about. And to wrap it up, man, roundtable tomorrow night should be happening. Let us know if it's happening or not, man. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. HCP Network, spread the word. And I am very appreciative that I'm part of this network, man. A lot of great non-drama, drama-free people just getting together and talking boxing. And I'm appreciative to everybody in the chat as well. So make sure to continue to support these channels and support the shows tomorrow night. And we will be in contact, man. Thanks to everybody out there. And congrats to Run PMC, the new boxing trivia diamond belt champion. I'm out, man. God bless. Peace.